Former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger gives some advice to rookie quarterback Will Howard and says that he sees similarities in Will Howard's game compared to himself. But first, before I get more into what he said and the quotes, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also, like this video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, Ben Roethlisberger was the Steelers' franchise quarterback for nearly 20 seasons. And now, Will Howard, a 6th-round pick, is coming in. And he met with Ben Roethlisberger. He went on his podcast, he talked to Ben, gave some stories, and shared comments. And Big Ben gave advice to Will Howard and what he could do in his rookie season, and also says there's similarities in the two's game. So let's start off there with the similarities that Big Ben compared to one another. So here's a quote. We have a lot of, I'm finding out a lot of similarities. Shortstop, baseball, basketball was my first love all the way till now. Still love basketball more. I played point guard and my coach did the same thing. He said, I told you you could play college basketball. He goes, but how many 6'5" white point guards do you see? Not very many. Not many, he goes. What about 6'5" white quarterbacks? Let's give it a shot. End quote. So, Roethlisberger's comments came after Howard shared a similar upbringing. A multi-sport athlete throughout high school, Howard said basketball was his first love. An accomplished player, he was a 6'4" power forward who realized his success would dry up at the college level. That pushed him to take football more seriously. So, both players were overlooked in high school thanks to the head coach's son topping the quarterback depth chart. Big Ben stuck playing receiver until his senior year and wound up being Miami, Ohio's quarterback. Howard was the cusp of becoming a big-name recruit until breaking his arm his junior year. Power programs like Penn State left him off the map. Howard was prepared to head to the Ivy League until an official visit to Kansas State felt like home. So, from there, their paths have diverged. Roethlisberger became the 11th pick in the draft, but Will Howard fell to the 6th. But in terms of being overlooked at the college level, Big Ben compared himself to Will Howard. And obviously dropping all the way down to the 6th round shows that he's been overlooked, even now at the NFL level. But him dropping to the Pittsburgh Steelers now brings him the opportunity to talk to Big Ben and share some of those similarities. So, moving over now to Will Howard being the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers and Big Ben giving him advice as a rookie. This is what Big Ben had to say, had to tell him. He said that he needs to understand, and you tell him that there's no pressure on you right now because you are a 6th-round pick. You're coming into this football team and you're not going to be the day one starter. So there's not that much pressure on you to be that guy. But he should go into this thing and with the mentality of being free, playing free without that pressure. He also says that he should come in with the mindset that this is his job, that he wants to be the quarterback of the Steelers for the next 15 to 20 years, and not just come in with the mentality of, hey, I'm a 6th-round pick, I could be a backup, and I could just do this thing at a low level. No, he should come in with the mentality of he wants to be the guy. So he's giving him advice in terms of having the mentality of you're the 1st-round draft pick, even though you're not a 1st-round draft pick. And basically play with a chip on your shoulder and prove yourself, but at the same time be free, because no one's expecting you to be that guy. So he also told him that it'll naturally unfold itself if you're out there preparing yourself and you're not trying to undermine the starter and cut his legs out. He told them basically help the starter, but also learn and do better so that one day you could pass up the starter, but don't undermine the starter. So Roethlisberger advice boils down to being a good teammate, respecting the process, and preparing yourself as if you'll eventually be the starter one day. So that's his advice for Will Howard. And to be quite honest with you, it's a really good one. Because if you're coming in and you're putting all this pressure on yourself because you're a 6th round pick, you're putting all the pressure being like, I have to make it in the NFL. I have to be the guy. I have to do this. I have to do that. Then the pressure on you will get to you. And then you'll end up failing. But if you come in and do all the little things, help the starter out, be a great backup. If he needs any help with the playbook, with kind of going through tape, you're there for him. He comes to the sideline, you talk, sure. And you listen to all the coaches, you do all the little things. And then when it's your time, it'll be your time. If you do all those little things that Big Ben just told you to do, if you do all the little things that Mike Tomlin told you to do as well, understand the playbook, be great in the huddle, great with communication, then eventually your time will come. You'll see more snaps in practice, and then you'll see snaps in a game if things go wrong with the starter. So if you take advice from Big Ben, if you take advice from the coaches, if you take advice from everyone telling you how to do things the proper way, then it'll only help. And Big Ben was a quarterback for what? Nearly 20 seasons? So you have to know that he knows what he's talking about in the situation. And you have to remember, Big Ben, even though he was what? A 1st round draft pick, he was still the backup until people got injured. So he had to do all those little things in practice still. He wasn't just given and handed the job. No, the quarterback got injured and he had to take over and come in. And he prepared himself for that opportunity. He even said that he wished the injury basically didn't happen to the quarterback who got injured and they had someone else to go on the field instead because he felt like he wasn't ready. So he wished that wouldn't have happened, but it ended up happening and it worked out best for him because then he was able to take over and keep that job for the rest of his career. So some people, they come in and they're not ready. But if you do all the little things behind the scenes, you'll be ready when your time comes. So Will Howard is a player who is an older quarterback heading into the draft, and he was selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers and fell in the draft because of his age a little bit. But if you look at his success at the college level and him winning a championship with Ohio State, it looks like he does all the little things. If you see all the positivity he has on the football field and off the football field and the way he hypes up his teammates and his teammates talk about him, you'll see that he's a good teammate and he doesn't undermine other guys. And he only tries hyping them up. And to be quite honest with you, if he was a player rushing the process, he wouldn't have stayed in college all of those seasons that he did. He stayed in college for the max that he possibly could to keep on learning and keep on developing and not rushing things. And now it works out because he made to the NFL. And if he rushed things, who knows if he would have even got drafted. So the Pittsburgh Steelers get Will Howard and just taking it all the way back to the similarities. Yes, they have similarities in terms of their upbringing, but they also have similarities in terms of the game that they play and their size at the quarterback position. What Big Ben was 6'5", Will Howard's 6'4", so they're both big quarterbacks in terms of height and weight as well. And when you look at their games, Big Ben has already compared Will Howard, basically saying that he's a strong arm, like he had a strong arm. And he's a quarterback who could move around a little bit in the pocket, extend plays, and also use his legs in terms of running. He said Will Howard probably uses his legs more than he did. So, in terms of the game style, Big Ben always liked Will Howard, and even before he got drafted to the Steelers, he said Will Howard was one of his favorite quarterbacks in the entire NFL draft. So now that he's a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, Big Ben gets to talk to him more and maybe help mentor him a little bit more. So this is Will Howard, quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers now, being talked about by franchise quarterback Big Ben, someone who will go down as the history books as the Steelers' best quarterback of all time. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. That's the end of this video on the advice Big Ben gave Will Howard and also the similarities that he showed and talked about between the two and their upbringing. Do you think Will Howard can be a quarterback like Big Ben, who played his entire career for the Steelers and be the franchise guy for many years to come? Or do you think he'll just be the regular 6th round draft pick who got drafted and people forget about? Leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, analysis, reports. Everything surrounding this team I've covered this offseason, and I'll continue to cover it as the season and offseason goes along. So stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications for this channel, and until next video, I'll see you guys all later. I'm out. Peace.